Focus, people. Let's stay focused. It's your boy Tone 202, and I'm about to do a reaction video I saw on a YouTube show called The Advice Show, which is, some brothers giving their advice on, the whys and wherefores and what they believe. I never watch all of what they have to say, but nonetheless, some of what they have to say that I listen to, I digest. And I'm like, okay, I feel you, brothers. All right. But they were talking about a young lady who was kicked out of Petco. And, she was kicked out of Petco. And so let's listen to some of the reasons that she gives. Well, she's African American. She was kicked out. Let's listen to it.
Naughty. Don't pull stuff off of the shelves. Don't.
She's a dog trainer, by the way.
The dog treats that you smell. So whenever I bring dogs in there, they're always trained. I never deal with barking dogs.
From Iowa City, Iowa.
Going in there, none of my clients are like that. But for the past 2 months, the employees at Petco have been extremely disrespectful to me.
So there's more than one.
I've done nothing. I'm always respectful. I use my manners. I say excuse me, and they've used racial slurs. Tonight, they called the cops on me. I walked in with Onyx, very calm and controlled. We were working on foosing among distraction. We came at 8 o'clock. They close at 9. I came at a time where there's not a lot of people because I don't want, like I said, I don't want to be a nuisance. I don't want to be a distraction. I brought Onyx in. She was foosing, attention healing. As soon as I walked through the door, the employee came up to me and she said, "You need to get out." I said, "Excuse me, why do I need to leave?" She says, "We don't allow people of your kind here."
Boom.
I was so upset. I'm sorry, I was so upset. I kept my professional face on, and I said, okay, and I kept walking. I wasn't going to leave the store because I didn't think that was a law for people just to say, "Oh, we don't allow your kind in here, you have to leave." So she called the cops. The cops came. I was continued to be respectful. I told them I'm Chelsea Montgomery. I work for Not Heart Kennels and Training Academy. I train service dogs, therapy dogs, and this is one of my protection dogs in training. I put Onyx in a plot. She laid in a plot. She did not disrupt our conversation. She was calm and controlled. I was a little threatened. I was threatened because I was the only African American in the building. The cops that came in were Caucasian, and I was a little offended because racial slurs had already been used. I felt like I was being targeted.
You were being targeted.
I was calm, cordial. I didn't do anything wrong. And because this employee decided that she did not like me because of my race, I had to leave the store. Okay. They told me that it is their policy that they can refuse the right of service to anyone. To anyone. So I was the only person that was asked to leave. I was the only person who was asked to leave. Now, I had called corporate this morning because, like I said, this has been going on for 2 months. I bring my clients there. We work on public work. We work on loose leash healing, not paying attention to distractions, all of it. And this was my final straw. They called the cops on me, and I had to leave the store. They said I cannot come back. If I come back, I will be fined for trespassing.
Yeah.
I'm African American.
No.
That is not okay.
Okay.
That is not okay.
All right, let's dissect that. You were asked to leave because you were an African American. This is true. It's not okay for what they did. That's true. The lady goes on to say she's calling the NAACP or whoever, or the Civil Rights Commission, and a lawyer, and that's exactly what you should do. However, what's going to happen is, yes, you were discriminated against, but being that that company is a private company, it's private property, they have, and I'm on her side, but I've been discriminated against so much, it's like I should just, open up my own firm to fight for people who've been discriminated against. Nonetheless, it's always a learning process to hear how people, combat discrimination, because it happens all the time. in one fashion or another. Yes, you can call the NAACP, you can call the Civil Rights Commission, which is the first thing to do. Civil Rights Commission, to me, they're just, I mean, the Civil Rights Commission, when to me, when they look at an issue, it's they. I'm sorry to say this, but they don't go as hard as you want them to. They look at something and it just seems like it's blasé to me. Now, they have their purpose, you know what I mean? They're not there just for nothing. And I'm not saying everybody there doesn't care. I'm just saying, when you want something done, when your feelings are hurt, when you have committed no atrocities, no crime, all you were was born black, and this happens to you, you're angered. You, especially when you're an upstanding citizen, you're doing exactly what you're supposed to do. You're like, I want to be protected against this. I want those people to be punished. I want them to know that this is not okay. To me, the Ohio Civil Rights Commission doesn't feel as strongly about what happened to you as you do, as you want them to. Excuse me. It just don't. I've been discriminated against a couple times. I went to the Ohio Civil Rights Commission, and they sided for the company. And so to me, there's a lot more going on than just, you know, can the Ohio Civil Rights Commission come in and do something? They even told me, they're just like, if you're looking for money, you're not going to get any. We're not going to sue these people. All we're going to do is tell them that they need to change their practices. So I'm just telling you what they do. They try to re-educate whoever's discriminated against you. That's what they do. So I mean, good luck with them, but I mean, that's all they're going to do. They're going to send a liaison in there and say, okay, when a black person comes in here, here's how to talk to them, so on and so forth. And it almost hurts because it's like, you've been done wrong. So in this case, Chelsea, a lawyer, that's another thing. Listen, the last time I was discriminated against, I wanted to get a lawyer. They was like, go ahead. It was like, go ahead, get a lawyer. See what happens. Because they know to get a lawyer is going to cost you an enormous amount of money, Chelsea. That's what's going to happen. I'm gonna tell you guys something. The best thing to do is what Chelsea did, is go on Facebook and tell people about it, so people can start boycotting. Because that's where you really hurt people. When you go after their pockets, when you start publicly boycotting them, or when you start not necessarily lining up outside and with picket fences and whatnot, you just stop going there. The more people that know that these people are dirty, the less people that start the shop there. And listen, she's in Iowa City, Iowa. I don't know what the African American population is, but all I know is when you get a bunch of people to move as one unit, then it's effective. Um, as far as a lawyer is concerned, I'm gonna tell you your best advice. If you're gonna get a lawyer for anything, start a GoFundMe. Heck, all they can do is say no. Start a, it's like a Craigslist, but it's called Begs List. Go on the Begs List and tell them what happened to you, and see if people will give you money for the attorney. See if you can, get one of them attorneys that will, not necessarily pro bono, but see if you can get an attorney to write a strongly worded letter to corporate. Because you complain to corporate, it's going to go in one ear and out the other. That's why, listen, it's happened to me so many times. I know what you're going to go through. I know the rhythm. I know exactly what's going to happen. There's not going to be no major outcry except by you. And this is a damn shame, because people have no fear of being ignorant. And that's the problem. But if you go after their pockets in a way that's legal, you get enough people to get on social media which is the first thing to do. Listen, last time somebody ripped me off, I couldn't do nothing about it. I went right to YouTube. I was like, bet. The person who owned that company tried to get me to take my YouTube video down. You know what I'm saying? Another time I was discriminated against, I put them on YouTube. They had YouTube take my video down. To me, I know that it was working when you go to YouTube and you have YouTube take my video down. That's the most effective way to go after these people. Listen, it may not be immediate, but it works. Go after them on social media. Everybody has a site. Petco has a site. Go after Petco's site. And I also want to bring this up. I did some promotions at Petco. I didn't work for them. I was a promoter. I worked for a company that Petco hired. This was years ago when I was doing marketing and promotions. And I went into the Petco, and I'm going to tell you something. It was in a very white area. But I'm going to tell you straight up and down, I didn't have not one problem. So in not in Petco's defense, but in it was a very white area. The majority of people walked through the door were white. Those people didn't treat me any differently than anyone else. And I thought it was gonna go down because I'm a very morose looking man. I'm very dark, and I'm tall. I'm 6'2". I'm like 265. I'm not a small guy. And sometimes when I walk into places, people look up and they're startled, because I don't sound the way I look. I sound like a white person on the phone. But nonetheless, I'm a tall black guy, and people catch fright because they're ignorant. But in this case, uh, there was no reaction from them. They didn't even care if I was there or not, which is exactly what you want. You know what I mean? So I just want to put that out there. Like, I think this is just a case that happened to you in that one place, Chelsea, in Iowa City, Iowa. I don't vouch for all of Petco. I don't work for them. I haven't done a promotion for them in a long time. But the one time that I was in there, and I did that promotion for a couple days, I didn't have a problem at a Petco. So I think the issue is just. I think the issue is just those people that live in that area. And I'm gonna tell you something. I would start using online preferences if you can't find another place to shop. Just order stuff online. All right, it's your boy Tom 202.